You on the side of the good guys this time?
Did Illyana Rasputin care about being one of the good guys when she killed her best friend? What about when she killed her mentor? Obviously not. Illyana is not the kind of character that has strong definitions of good and bad. She's not like Xavier, who has these very clear-cut beliefs. She's a character that's been allowed to grow and change a lot over time, which in the modern day has cemented her with her own sense of what's right without the traditional ideas of good and bad. Marvel Rivals simply does not have the time to get into everything we will today. It only gives a few line exchanges before a battle, yet many are in character. Tony is Tony, Logan is Logan, and Hulk is Hulk. But they still manage to treat Magneto like he's the same guy from the 1940s.
You reduce me to a weapon and make everything about your war.
As if Magnus has not been in a redemption arc since 1985. As if he does not truly care for his own race, despite the fact that he has shown he'll do anything for them. Or the fact that Magneto and Magik have been on the same team multiple times. Yet here, she treats him like a war criminal. When you make an adaptation, of course things are going to be different, but this game isn't really about story. They're not going to bring up the whole mutant rights debate. They should, but they won't. Not when China's Communist Party has been infiltrated by libertarian politicians. China's revisionism has driven them away from the socialist goal and more towards capitalism. You just can't have any idea of a unified, oppressed group in this game. No, they have to be fighting each other. China benefits from what is practically slave labor by buying up most of the businesses in foreign countries and forcing the workers to work in terrible conditions while they slowly die, all so you can get the new iPhone. Magneto and Magik would be the kind of characters that are leading a rebellion against this oppression. They would be united in the fight against it, as they often are on the same team. So, how can all these seemingly contradictory things work together? Well, let's go back to the beginning. Illyana Rasputin and her brother, Peter Rasputin, moved from Soviet Russia to America in order to join the X-Men. Illyana was too young to be a part of the team at the time, but she lived in the mansion. Kitty Pryde looked out for her, cared for her until the day Illyana was ripped out of this world and into limbo. The demon Belasco had kidnapped her to become his apprentice wife slave? Yeah. All because her latent mutant power teleports her to Limbo, making her linked to the place. And he needed a pure soul to release the Elder Gods into our dimension and rule the world. Immediately, he shows Illyana the benefits of his powers, enchanting her. There is no other way to say this other than the fact that he is grooming her here. He never does anything truly sexual to her, but this story still represents that. When he takes a piece of her soul, transforming it into something else, that is him taking something that she will never get back. It is a permanent reminder of what was taken from her without her consent. And as a child, she was taught by him to accept it. So, she did. Later on, he makes her fight brutal demons with no care for her safety. Despite being fearful of Belasco, knowing his abuse was horrible, she develops a liking for it. She enjoys the way dark magic makes her feel, how violence makes her feel. She has developed a case of Stockholm Syndrome. But there are guardians who try to break her free of Belasco's control. Before I really get into it, I have to say time and space work differently in Limbo. Years ago, an alternate universe Illyana opened the portal to Limbo, but instead of her being trapped, it was the rest of the X-Men. Storm and Kitty are the only ones left alive, but they've been tainted by this dark world. Storm suffered the same experience that our Illyana is currently going through, but escaped Belasco's control. She is now educated in the ways of sorcery, which takes less effort to use than her mutant powers. While Kitty Pryde was never under Belasco's control, she had been transformed into a cat-like creature by his magic. Storm and Kitty wrestle over Ilyana's fate, Storm believing the only way she could ever defeat Belasco is if she becomes a sorcerer as powerful as him, while Kitty thinks if Ilyana learns more magic, she will only become deeper entrenched in Belasco's grip. They each take a much different approach to training Ilyana, and eventually, the girl is trained in both physical combat and magic. But Ilyana's guardians do not help her unscathed. Belasco deforms Kitty's brain, making her as intelligent as a wild animal. He forces her and Ilyana to fight, knowing it would be devastating for her. She abandons the fight, but Kitty follows and shows her a glimpse of recognition, a slight hope that their friendship is not lost. But there's no time for that. Storm leads an assault on the castle with everything she has. In the confusion, Kitty panics, brutally attacking Ilyana, not letting up, so she is forced to do the unthinkable. As a child, Ilyana kills her best friend. Even if it wasn't the same person, the memories are still there. The time shared is still powerful. Yet, the pain is not over. Belasco forces Ilyana to kill a weakened Storm, and they both enjoy it as much as Belasco does. But the voice of reason has not entirely left Ilyana's mind. She knows this kind of violence is wrong. Scared of what she can do, what this world has done to her, she activates her mutant power, teleporting far away. Now alone, she tries to improve herself, create life from her own soul, prove that she can be better, but each time, it just comes out rotten. 7 years of doing nothing but fighting has made her trauma so deeply ingrained in her that it will never leave. That anger and love of violence are simply a part of her now. She's been trying to hold it all in, trying to deny it, but she just can't any longer. She forms what's left of her soul into a sword that radiates the fire inside that has kept her fighting so long. She knows who to unleash this rage onto, her tormentor. She strikes down his minion, then strikes him down, showing who is truly powerful. As Limbo's leader is defeated, it gains a new one. The power of Limbo allows Ilyana to tap into a more powerful, demonic side, the Dark Child. The Dark Child is a manifestation of how strong her emotions are, but the pull towards darkness is always there. Sometimes, she just has to let it all go. This will start to affect her later on in certain moments of X-Men's history. It's often a thing where her meltdown becomes everyone else's problem, but I mean, give her some grace. She went through hell and survived. Even after she becomes ruler of Limbo and is able to control the demons there, when she returns home, PTSD from everything that happened there haunts her. And when she uses her mutant power, her birthright, everything that happened in this terrible place comes back. It's as if she's destined to be trapped in her pain. So she pushes down all her emotions and wears an armor that protects her from any vulnerability, keeping her disconnected from anyone who would seek to help her. The past never leaves her, so she just can't let any of it happen again. She can't allow herself to be hurt again. But Kitty is such a beacon of hope, a reminder of her childhood. That's the one person she lets in. So with all this, I think you can tell Magic is this intense, strong and silent type. She fought through hell and is constantly reminded of it, so why would she want to say anything about it? Well, there are actually a few reasons. In recent years, Magic has opened up a little more. Bendis started her arc of working through her trauma instead of letting it control her. And while Bendis is a great writer, he always seems to have at least one contrived moment in his stories. 99% of the run, Magic is written in character. But every couple issues, she'll crack an outlandish joke like this, which is not just out of character for decades of storytelling, but Bendis's very own run, where he makes Emma Frost say that Magic does not make jokes. This problem continues into future runs as well. And don't get me wrong, I love that Magik has softened up, because there are little parts of her personality that shine through more. When she's investigating something, she goes to a cat cafe in Paris because it's a nice place to be, better than some stuffy bunker. But the problem with translating Magik into a game like this is you need short, quippy lines that show personality to get people invested before a game. There's going to be comedy because that's an easy appeal. Everyone likes a laugh. I don't have anything against this, but Magik should always be the butt of the joke instead of the one telling it. In a series of challenges the X-Men face, Illyana is asked to spell the word Magik. So, what does she spell? M-A-G-I-K. That is incorrect. It's so funny to me because you realize the last time she had a formal education was when she was 7 years old. She really does not know how to spell the word. She has matured into an adult, but in certain ways, she doesn't have the intelligence of one. But at the same time, she has become a war tactician, because of how many years she has spent doing nothing but fighting. An example would be from Kieran Gillen's X-Men run. She manipulates Colossus into becoming the Juggernaut. Becoming the Juggernaut leads to extremely angry and violent impulses that just take over someone's mind. Knowing this, Illyana offers herself first because she knows Peter will always jump in to save his little sister. She did this out of a very desperate loneliness. She wanted someone close to her to feel exactly how she did all those years in limbo. She's so wrapped up in her own horrible emotions, feeling like she could never escape. And so, her actions start to parallel what Belasco did to her. She passes on that trauma to someone else, repeating the actions she hated so much. At first, she doesn't feel bad because all this messiness is a part of her anyway. But after Colossus finds out, it tears them apart. In the end, she still couldn't get what she wanted. She lost her bid for connection because of her manipulation. The run directly after this one is written by Bendis, where she obviously feels a lot of guilt for the things that she's done. And it's all about her working through her trauma and becoming a better person, even though the goal in her mind isn't really to become a better person as much as it is to just get stable. The Illyana, when Bendis is done with her, isn't someone who would do something like this again. She later interprets the idea that craving violence is a part of her in a much better way. She harnesses all of her messed up emotions to be unleashed on enemies that actually deserve it instead of manipulating friends. I made this video knowing the massive reach Rivals has is much more than mine. Even still, I wanted to show some people what Magik is really like. I want people to understand the true essence of one of my favorite X-Men characters. I'm sure I have still managed to come off as pretentious, which I didn't really mean to, because I am making this video out of love for the character. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.